Hello, I hope you're all okay. Hold on, I don't even know where I'm looking. I don't even know where I'm looking. I'm just looking at you, Anna. Do you know what? You're better to look at than my face, I tell you. So today, for our therapy talks, we are going to talk about, you suggested reality, didn't you, Anna?
Yeah.
Because like we've done it before, going back a couple of months.
Okay.
But life has changed a lot. So what was reality then isn't necessarily reality now, because a lot has changed, although a lot has stayed the same as well, in a weird kind of, what's the word, when paradigm shift? No, something like that.
Yeah.
It's early. So my reality today is school run. Getting Ethan ready for school interviews for he's going to secondary school soon. Can you believe it? This is his last year. So it's all the normal stuff like that, although doing it differently. So everything's online or online interviews, dealing with stuff coming up in January. You know what I mean? So it's really different, the schools and everything, but everyone's adapting. And like with my gigs, I'm very, very, very grateful, flipping a million times grateful, because I've managed to have 2 gigs this month.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people haven't, but like I'm so grateful to have had that. But it's so different now, but still amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. So that is adapting. That's reality now. My reality is I don't know when my next one will be. I don't know what's in. I know my reality is next year that there's loads in, but whether they'll actually happen or not, who knows? So my reality is dealing with the present and staying, you know, whatever will come in, and whatever isn't meant to, that's fine too. My reality is not knowing the truth out there, because we don't know, and dealing with the unknown, and how I perceive the world on a daily basis, when I try very, very much so to look through different perspectives and eyes of like gratitude and positivity and all those things that make me feel better and hopefully make other people feel better. So I do that, and expecting the best. Still every day I expect the best, and try not to focus on the negatives and not to let it drag me down, and knowing that if I do get a bad day, like we all do, just trying to maybe reset yourself a little bit by lifting a vibration, by putting on a really good song. I was just listening to New Order. Did you hear when you joined?
Oh, no, I didn't hear.
Oh, Blue Monday.
Oh, brilliant song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, using music, using comedy, using connection, using all the things that I've got around me to just make my vibration go up again, so I can reset. Or even if you need to just sleep for an hour, get up again and then start again. So that's my reality. So what's your reality? And the reality is as well that Trump's apparently got corona.
I know, I heard that. Excuse me. Yeah. I heard that just this morning.
Although everything's still third party, so you just don't know until you know. You don't know until you know, but that's reality. It's all a bit. Reality is so subjective. We don't really know.
This is it. And here's a question for you. So you talk about your current reality, but do you feel that you've got lots of different realities within your reality? So just to give you an example, because I was thinking of asking you this this morning, actually. You've got your reality of being at home and being a mum and being Danielle in your own environment. But then you've got the reality of being a professional singer and going on stage. And how is that? Does that feel like a different reality compared to? Do you know what I mean? Is because different...
At the moment, it's like a different life, because it's a world away from where we are right now. So my reality right now. I mean, the thing is, when I do all of that, I never see it as a different reality, because I'm always just very much myself. So when I go on stage or do whatever I'm doing, my speaking or things like that, I'm just projecting me. Like I don't try and be anything I'm not. I never do in life. People either like me or they don't, and that's theirs, and I can't change that, and I'm okay with that. If people like me, then great, and if they don't, well, that's okay too. So I don't try and be anything that I can't be. So
does anyone not love you, Danielle? That'll be my question.
Oh, there's been a few.
Oh, really?
So if looks could kill a few times, normally it's Well, there's a few times, yeah, but like not from my own doing, through their own perception of things and their own insecurities that have been portrayed on me, you know, like partners and stuff like that, people like that are just perceiving things. So that's but that's theirs. That's not me. All I can do is my best and just be. I'm the same with everyone, and like we are all one. We are, like, even multi-millionaires to people on the street, like, flipping hell, we are all humanity. We are one. And if we can't all be together, you know, we're experiencing something. The whole of this world is experiencing something that may be real, may not be real. Who knows? You know, whatever it may be. But we've all got our fears and insecurities and doubts and anxieties, and, you know, everything's in this big whirlwind. And all we can do is just try and make some kind of sense of what is right now. And we just don't know. And there's Kate. There's Kate. She's joined the party. Oh, I see her face, and then she disappears. It's almost like a fleet in the night. It's just a fleet. It's a blink of an eye. She'll come back. There she is.
I'm coming. Here I am.
Yes. Look, it's a girls' talk. It's a girls' party. We were just talking about, oh, I love you, Kate. Do you know, it feels like this is, see, because we didn't do it last week, because what was I doing last week? I've had some weird, like, it's been, what happened to me?
Was it Wi-Fi or was it toilets? I can't remember which one.
One of them was toilets, which is now, I'm happy to say, that was my reality. My toilet's done. My roof's done. I'm like, you know, it's not leaking. Look, I've got no water coming in my head, and it's peeing down with rain. Is it where you are, Anna?
It's all right at the moment, actually. Yeah.
Is it there where you are?
We've got, wind, well, rain now and wind coming. We've got the same storm. Storm Alex coming, but see, so far so good.
We're all at one even with that, aren't we? So, like, I can't really remember what I was talking about. But basically, we are together. So, like, we just need to, if everyone can just deal with everything that they're dealing with from a place of present, then everything will make a little bit more sense. And I always say, honestly, to me, I wake up and in a world of like, there's so much chaos going on, but I just try and really remain in that center of the storm, in the calm, in the eye of the hurricane. So even if everything's just going whizzing around my head, like a complete nut things going around, I just try and stay very present, what's real right now, and calm. And then you can deal with everything, because we are in reality that we don't know what the hell's going on. Kate, what do you think?
Well, yeah, same thing. In terms of reality, you know, what is it? What is real? I mean, the only thing that is real is what's happening right this very moment now. And then now that's not real anymore. Now this is real, this moment. And it just goes on like that. And so people, you know, often our thoughts sort of go back to the past, and, you know, that's not real anymore. And often we're in the future about this imagined reality, but that's not real either. And there are tricks that we can do to improve the way we think about the past and the future and everything else. And part of it is just like getting back to now. And then the way to do that for me is to, firstly, how to relax, which is, because I don't think you can really feel anything real until you're in a kind of a relaxed state. So the key thing is for me is like learning to relax and accept whatever's happening right now. And then from that point of acceptance and a relaxed mind and sort of more clear thinking, then you can make choices and that's it. And that's the only thing we've got. That's the only thing we can control. The future, I can't control that. I mean, I had a plan this morning that went straight out of the window and I got up. And so, you know, we make plans about a future reality that we want. And we think, like, back before lockdown, we all had this future planned, didn't we? All of us had plans, and we kind of assumed that we had these solid foundations, and we were building these plans, and this life was going to be built upon these expectations of the future. And suddenly we feel like the sort of carpet's been pulled out from under our feet, or we're on quicksand. You know, I was talking to a friend last night about, she feels like she's on quicksand, you know, and she's just having to just sort of lay out like a starfish kind of just not move too much, because she tries to struggle too much and she's going to get sucked in. And so for her, that's how she is. And it's just like, so when you relax, if you're on quicksand, then you don't get sucked in. You know, it is that relaxing, spreading out, opening up to whatever is.
Yes.
And just, okay, I'm in quicksand, but okay, as long as I just kind of relax and don't struggle too much and resist it, I'm going to get sucked in. So better to just relax and just kind of ride the waves, kind of thing. And so reality, we think that our future now is more uncertain, but that's rubbish, because our future's never certain, ever. I mean, we can make plans, and like say this morning, I had plans, I was going to be here by 12 o'clock and I wasn't, your time, my time. But
we're flexible, we bend.
Yeah, well, that's what we have to be, isn't it? We have to be flexible, we have to be curious about what is real right now, what is real and what can I control, and then what can I realistically plan. And we all thought that we had plans that were more solid, and now they don't feel so solid. But the only thing that is constant is change. And so it's like, how do we become more acceptable of change? And like that comes back to like resilience, doesn't it? Bouncing back from challenges and building skills to be able to do that. And that's kind of like a life's work, isn't it? Because none of us have it right, none of us ever will. It's just a constant learning about what makes, for me, it's like, what makes me tick? What am I feeling? What do I want to feel? How do I, if I want more, if I'm feeling, I don't know, frustrated about the future, then what do I want? I want more sureness about the future. But I can't control that.
No,
I can't control the weather. I can't control anything. So you just have to put on the right clothes for the weather of the day and go out anyway and do it. And that's like,
right. And it's learning to love the journey as well, isn't it? Getting through that, whatever life throws at you, whether it be bad or good, it's accepting and appreciating it for what it is, and trying to see it through good eyes rather than through eyes of fear or bad, and
that's a challenge in itself, isn't it? And
it is,
because fear is always there, isn't it? We all have fear.
Everyone.
And so, and enjoying the journey, I don't know, I mean, for me it's more about acceptance and being okay even when I'm not okay.
Yes.
Because I know I'm not going to enjoy a lot of it, but that's okay.
Well,
and that's okay, because that's life, and I don't expect life to be this enjoyable journey. I don't expect that.
Well, it's enjoyable. It's in inverted commas enjoyable, because you're right. When you're flipping ill and you're lying on a bed and you're feeling like crap, you're not going to enjoy that. But it's knowing that that's part of the journey. That's
absolutely, acceptance is, for me, is like accepting it. Curiosity about what's real, what's happening, what can I control? Not very much. Very little I can control, even myself. Can I control my thoughts and my moods? Not really, but I can accept them, and I have ways of dealing with my feelings so that even very harsh feelings and uncomfortable feelings are okay with me. And so once you get to that point of acceptance, and that this is part of life, and this too shall pass, and all these sort of things that we can use to make ourselves feel more comfortable with being uncomfortable, and being okay with the fact that I have no idea what's happening in the future. I never did, really, let's face it. And so you just make it up as you go along, don't you? And make the best of what you've got.
Exactly.
And if you're feeling like shit, then
just grow with it.
It's just ride those waves and just wait, because it will pass, and things will get better, because they have to, because change has to happen. So if you've got a bad feeling, change has to happen.
And you can change your mind. You can change your mind. That's the one thing you can do. You have control over that. Anna, you beauty. Oh God, I just love you both. I'm so glad you're here, honestly, because like I just missed you. I missed your faces. I really did. I can't remember what I was doing last week, but was it my internet? My internet had gone off or something like that.
I think it was something.
I have internet problems. And I had all of that. So that was reality. That was flipping. Oh, I had this device that was giving out a Wi-Fi, and we couldn't find the device. So when you get in the clash, and then all our Wi-Fi was going on then off, and we had to get the people in to fix it. We found it in the end, but it took about 2 days to fix it. That was flipping reality that I didn't really enjoy the journey. But hey, I learnt. Anna, you beauty.
Hello. Yeah, I love this whole question of what is reality. Just that question itself, I could probably talk about all day. We probably could all talk about all day. It's one of the most fundamental things of NLP as well, isn't it? You know, what is your reality? Because none of us have a shared reality. Every single person has a different, you know, you've got a perspective of what you think reality is, but that's all it is. It's your sort of perspective of it. It's not reality itself. So what is reality? And, you know, when we work with people, like Kate said, there are people that are often stuck in the past, worrying about things in the future, or going over things in the past, and they're not living in the present. So what is their reality? Are they, if they're constantly in the past, that is their reality in the past, and they're missing out on real reality? But what is real reality? And it could just go on. You know, and I suppose your current reality could be, you think that you're not good at something and I can't do this thing. But we know with NLP, you can change that reality. There's things that you can do to adjust it. So then you have a new reality that says, actually, I can do these things. So there's those sides of reality. But I also like to go even bigger and throw some spanners in the works, because I quite enjoy doing that from time to time.
I love
it. One of the things I loved discussing and hearing about was this concept of reality, and what reality are we in? Are we potentially in a simulation? Have you heard about this?
Oh, I love this.
So if you ask yourself the question, there was like an opportunity to think of three things. If we think about how far technology has come, so I used to love playing computer games. And I used to play, I remember when the N64 came out, and I thought the graphics on this console were fantastic. And I thought, I used to play James Bond on this console, and I thought this was the best graphics ever. You look at it now and you think, what on earth was that? Compared to how far we've come on, just in 10 years even, the graphics that you can see are incredible. So that the rate at which, you know, we're moving on in the world of computers and stuff is phenomenal. So you can ask yourself a question, and that is, if we do we think that humans, if we go forward into the future, do we think that humans will cease to exist before we get to a point in which computers can create a simulation almost, you know, you couldn't even tell the difference between our reality and a simulation? Like, is that, are humans going to be wiped out before we reach that point? Or will humans get to that point and decide for some reason not to create those type of simulations? Or do they get to that point and create those simulations, and maybe that's already happened and we're living in a simulation? And I think it was Elon Musk. I know that you're quite a fan of Elon Musk, aren't you?
Yeah, Tesla.
Who said a few years ago, he said he's thought about this a lot and looked at calculations and stuff, and he reckons if we are living in a non-simulated reality, the chances of that are 1 in billions. So he thinks it's most likely that we're living in a simulation.
Oh.
So just, yeah, right. And you look at things like, you know, there is a computer game, isn't there, called The Sims, where they're simulated people and you can play The Sims.
Oh my God, this is mad, isn't it?
And those Sims now, because I've seen it recently, they themselves have got their own version of The Sims. So these Sims are playing with Sims, and it just, so when you start thinking about that, and then I suppose there's that side to it, but then you also have to think about, if you look at our existing, even if in our reality we're in the non-simulated reality, look at things like quantum physics, and that in itself is just mind-blowing. You know, they say that when you get to like a subatomic particle level, these particles can be in 2 places at the same time, or multiple places at the same time, whilst also not existing. And you just so they say reality is stranger than fiction, right? And so what is reality? There's a quick question for you. So of those 3, what do you guys think?
Well, I would say, do you know, I remember when I was growing up and we went to Epcot at the opening, okay? And there's a big, it was literally, I had 20 years, 30 years ago, I don't even know now, but blooming long time ago, when I was mere sproggling. Of course, I'm 21. I'm 21. Right, smuggling. So, and there's that big dome there. Have you been to Epcot?
No.
Right. Okay. Right. So there's there's a ride there, and it's journeying through Earth, planet Earth, right? And it goes from the dinosaurs all the way round into, you know, growing plants for food, like, you know, in these big warehouses, and like it's about 5 to 10 minute long ride on this thing, very slow. But the very end of it, which is stuck in my brain all of my years, there was, and I was only young, there was a little boy on an iPad kind of thing, speaking to his dad. And there's another, like, you know, obviously they're all models in this ride, you know, they're figures. And there's the dad sitting over, you know, just behind a wall, or so he must be miles away, on the other iPad speaking to his son, right? So this was like 30 odd years ago. So that was in Epcot when it opened. That existed, or was a concept then. And it's reality now, right? But who's to say what the hell is going on? Because, like, it's almost like, and in films and stuff, they're predicting stuff that is happening. Who's writing this stuff, and how are they doing this? And if it's just a mind blow, isn't it? It's so close to home, including the virus films and stuff like that. There's a couple of virus films, and oh gosh, I can't even think of the names of them now, but it's almost like step by step. There's so many things. And then Sylvia Browne, the book, End of Days. Have you ever read Sylvia Browne's book?
No.
Oh my gosh, read this book, right? She's incredible. She's a psychic, and she writes these incredible books. She's got like one with the angels or something, and she's got another one, End of Days, and other books that she's written. She died a few years ago now. And in 2008, I think it was, she wrote this End of Days book. And in it, she wrote about, in 2020, they'll be having a virus that will attack the lungs. And she basically wrote about this, right? She said the date and everything. And she said, but it will disappear as fast as it appears. That's what she said. She also said in this, it's incredible. But who's to say this isn't real, right? She also said in this book that, that reality would be that the main towns would have like a environmental kind of thing over them, you know, like a what's it called? A protection, you know, like where built cities within, you know, cities. So the air will be purified. Domes, that's what I'm trying to think of, like domes where these big cities. So on the outside of the domes would be where people that didn't want to conform would live. And then on the inside of these domes would be like the pure cities, and, you know, like where people could breathe the fresh air, and, you know, everything would be very controlled and everything. And that they'd get so packed that people would start migrating out into the outside, because that was the freedom. And she was talking about how she was talking about like Alexas, like people, you know, not Alexa, she didn't say the word Alexa, but she was saying about how people would be running their homes and their security systems, and everything would be automated, and AI would be completely, like, just all this stuff that she was saying in these books. And about plagues and stuff, just, and fires and hurricanes and volcanoes, all of these things. And she was giving dates, and some of these things are coming true, right? So I do it's read End of Days. It's just brilliant. And it's so eye-opening as well. But how is the word? How?
I suppose, I mean, we sort of look to the future and we can see how things are progressing. I think, like, well, when George Orwell wrote 1984, he was kind of looking into the future, wasn't he, at a time when people would have these telly screens in their houses that could watch them, and then we've got basically like our iPhones and stuff that do exactly all the things that George Orwell kind of thought about. And the fact that we can think about these things, we're always keen to evolve and find the next bit of technology, aren't we, and progress, and these things then become a reality. So it does make you think, well, if we carry on at this rate, it almost seems unlikely that we won't be able to create a simulation that we can't tell is different from our own reality. And if
your ideas create your reality, don't they? I mean, in a weird way, once you've had that idea, once you've let that out into the world, your concept is then free to become a reality. And it's almost like this is what's happening, and it's just mad. What do you reckon, Kate?
I think there's I mean, in terms of what reality am I in right now, I choose to believe this is more of just a human natural existence, but I can't prove otherwise.
No,
I
no,
can't prove it is, and so I'm kind of open to what may be happening.
It's mad.
Because there's this whole thing of multiverses as well. So even in this moment now, there are, you know, Kate in a different multiverse is king of, you know, whatever, and or, you know, sort of a beggar in India, or I'm a, you know, whatever. I can be absolutely anything anywhere, and so every possibility actually of me exists everywhere at one moment. So this happens to be me in this one, but you know, if that's true, you know, anything's possible. And yeah, I think as reality is like we think too much, I think sometimes, and I guess, you know, Elon Musk is far more intelligent than I am, but
no,
we believe that, you know, I've been watching things like Star Trek for years, of like teleportation, and we go off, yeah, we just fly around the universe, and kind of like that's normal now, and people just do that. We can't even get to the moon anymore. I mean, come on, guys, we can't. We've lost all that technology. We've forgotten it all, and to sort of reinvent it all again. And so, and there are the challenges of actually getting to somewhere like Mars. Are just, you know, the effect on the body is going to be absolutely horrendous for us. And so maybe the only way we will be able to do this stuff is to be in a virtual kind of thing. And maybe we just got to transplant our mind into some sort of machine and let that go off and do stuff, because our bodies are just so limited. You know, we're on this planet, and we're made for this planet, and to move anywhere else really isn't going to be healthy. And so we don't have got time to evolve that way. And so we've either got to sort of take our whole environment with us somewhere, which is so dependent on not getting hit by an asteroid on the way or something. And so I think for me, it's like we think our reality is so much more progressed than it is, and we've only just come out of, like 100 years ago, we were still all warring nations. I mean, there are wars going on now around the world, and we're just really lucky to have been, lucky to have been born in a peaceful country for all this time. You know, most people have had wars still going on, and we forget all of this, that's real for some people. Just living in a war zone is reality. And you know, you're not going to progress when you're stuck with that kind of thing going on. And so I think we often think about how things are now in a really warped way, you know, and that's and when we aren't realistic about now, that's when people can program us, and that's when people can start saying, okay, yeah, but they're putting fear into us, and then saying, yeah, but now you need this location device that tells everyone where you are at every moment because of the virus. You need that, and it's the civil thing to do for all your people in your country. And it's what
that's worrying. That is,
and we're all being programmed in all these ways because of fear, because we're not really sure what's real. And what do you trust? I don't trust. I mean, we watch the news. I mean, I watch it now. I can't trust a video anymore. You can make up anything on it. You can create anything on video now. It's not like the old days where all sort of clunky Tyrannosaurus Rexes going around, and it was all quite funny, really.
Yeah.
You could tell what was real and what wasn't. Now I have no idea. And they can make up anything on video. They can put voices onto people. They can create anything. And so all I can, when I think about what's real for me, is the sense, and it's not, and you can't really trust your feelings either, because they come from thoughts, and thoughts are made up. And so you've got to really get into that place, of that core place, which is a place of quite calm wisdom, and when you're tuning into that, and then just knowing what that is for you in that moment, what is real, and trying to live your life that way, because that's all I've got, because everything else is someone else's idea, and I don't necessarily agree with what they think, and I'm not even sure sometimes what I think either. And so all I can do is tune into this place of, well, what's real for me now, and does it sort of link in with that person or what they're saying or not? And if not, then I okay, that's yours, not mine. I'm not taking that programming in. And I kind of have this little dome around me all the time that sort of things bounce off. Okay, that can just, you can have that back. That's a gift that you're giving me. I don't want that. You can take it back again. I don't want that programming in my head. And so it's kind of like a awareness, alertness to what's happening and what's real now, and then hope, and being hopeful about the future. I have to be hopeful.
Trust
that we're not going to just ruin everything for our species, for all the other species, for the environment, and do my little bit, whatever that can be, like supporting people with, the way I spend my money, trying to support people that are doing what I believe is the right thing.
That's right.
And
that's right.
what's real, I don't know. It's
you know what, as well, what we've talked about many times before, is our words, our world of words, because what we say is actually what we can make, what can happen. So I'll give you an example. This is really quite strange. I mean, I say things all the time and then it just kind of happens, like really weird things. But what you ask for is what you get, really, in a nutshell. Because I was taking Ethan to school on the school run. So what we do is we go from my house like 7 o'clock in the morning. We go to my sister's, because then I'm out for the traffic, between the run. Stay there for like 45 minutes, and I go drop him off at school. But this morning, not this morning, but a couple of days ago, I needed to go to Tesco's because I had to take this box of tea back, right? And I said to Ethan, look, we can go back. I can go after I've dropped you off at school. So it's funny. He goes, no, I want to go now. And I said, okay. So we went to Tesco's. I parked there. And I said, Ethan, I'm going to be in and out within seconds, like that, right? Just as you do. So I went into the thing and I found this amazing mask, by the way. It's plastic. Right, it's plastic and it's got glasses, and I don't really care what I look like. It's a freedom thing when you just don't actually care what you look like anymore. But anyway, so I went into Tesco's and I went to customer services. They looked at me and they said, oh, we don't open till 8 o'clock. I went, all right then, thanks. I'll come back. And I went out. I was in and out within seconds. I went back to the car. I said, Ethan looked at me like that and I went, told you I'd be seconds. Like that. So no, I got in the car and I went afterwards. But it literally is what we say. What we're asking for, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in some way or another. It might be immediate, it might be in the future, but we're actually painting the world that we live in through our words and our actions, So to be very mindful what you ask for, and and think about everything that you really want, because you might say, oh, I want to win £1 million, or I want £1 million, or whatever it is, or 10 million, or whatever it may be. But how do you want that £10 million? Because there's many ways you can get that £10 million. They might come to you, and it may come through negative ways as well as positive ways. So if you can just kind of ask, and £10 million isn't a very good example because, that's monetary. But you know what I mean? It's like what you're asking for. If you do it from a heart, a place of good, and it's something that you really need in your life or want in your life that would work for your life, and it would help others, and it's from a place of good. If you ask for it and you kind of like lay out, you can visualize exactly how you get it, and in what colors and what people are in it, and by what date, and all of these different things that you can visualize. We can almost make our own reality come into existence just through our thoughts and our words.
I think that's true in terms of like your behavior determines your reality. So like, and your feelings kind of drive our behavior, which comes from thoughts and everything. And so by behaving in a certain way, you're more likely to get what you want. And so if you have an expectation in the future that I'm going to create this reality, whatever it might be for myself, then if you're actually believing that, then it is more likely to happen. I don't kind of believe in the whole, I'm going to just say I want £1 million and it comes, but I do believe that if I'm feeling, I don't know, frustrated, and it's because I want something. It's like if I'm frustrated with my husband, I'll say something, or he says something to me and it's hurtful, and I will say, but I'm hurt because I want more attention, or I want more love, or something, you know, I want more care, whatever it might be in that moment that I wanted. So instead of just saying, being upset, you got to flip it over and say, what do I want more of? I want more love. But then I have to become more loving. There's no point being frustrated and that, because that's just going to push the other person away. So for me, it's like, well, okay, be more loving, and then more love will come.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And so it's like, how you behave is what you get. And if you behave as if you're going to get this, or you behave as if, I don't know, they say for people that win the lottery, a lot of them quickly lose it because they haven't got the mindset of somebody who's rich. And so you've almost got to have the mindset of being someone rich, and then maybe then that you might attract more people around you that have money because of the way you're behaving, and so then money might come into your life that way. I can see how that can all happen.
Yeah, but it's like, what do you want that £1 million for? What would you do with that £1 million? Because what you'd want to do with that £1 million, that's what you can attract. Because it's not necessarily the £1 million that you want, because it could be worthless. It could be, you know what I mean? £1 million, just £1 million is what, like, it's £1 million. But what are you going to do with that? What are you going to actually physically do that? What do you want more of? Do you want more travel? If so, invite more travel into your life. Do you want more security? If so, you know, give out more security and be there for others, and you know, look at what you have around you. You know, you can attract more security. If you want, there's a million things. There's a million things. What would you do with £1 million? And that's what you can attract.
Yeah, it's like, how do you want to feel? Okay, what do you want? Like you say, what do you want the money for? I want to feel more, whatever it is, more secure. Then, okay, well, how do I be more secure now?
Yeah.
What do I need now to invite more security into my life now? Feeling more safe and secure, or whatever it is. And that's what you go for. It's not the means to an end. It was like, what do I really want? And what matters to me? And that's going to change all the time as well. Because we know when we do values, an NLP thing that we do with people, the kind of like a life coaching thing, is we look at people's values, what really matters to them, and then prioritize those, and then help them live in integrity with those values, because that's what happiness and fulfillment is all about, living in integrity with what matters to you. And for them, when you when they get that, they can make all their decisions easily and everything, and they know what they want more of, and then that's what they focus on. And the more you focus on that and visualize it already happening, because if you can visualize it and say, it's already there, I've already got it, then you kind of act as if, and then your mind thinks, oh, well, there's a kind of, it doesn't connect really, because I'm visualizing I've got this, but I actually don't feel I have. So there's disconnect. So then the mind will try and make it happen. And so
yeah, it's interesting.
Then it's alignment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Anna, what do you think, darling?
Well, I love what Kate was saying about the whole visualization, and how, you know, that really it's one of the techniques we use with people, isn't it, in the NLP world. I remember someone telling me a story once that they were really worrying about going up to a stage. They had to go on a stage to pick up an award or something like that. And she said she went over and over in her mind that when I go up on stage and have to pick up that award, I'm going to trip on the stairs and fall. And she went over this in her mind again and again and again. I'm going to fall. I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to fall over. And of course, when she goes onto the stage to pick up this award, she tripped over the stairs and fell, because she'd been practicing that in her mind for so long. And she said, but if I change that and visualize, okay, I'm going to go up those stairs and I'm going to go up really gracefully and I'm going to get to the top. And if you constantly practice that in your mind, then you're much more likely to achieve that outcome. And interestingly, again, tying this in with other potential realities, is a really interesting guy called Charlie Morley, that you can follow on Instagram. And he talks a lot about lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And I've always been somebody that has very, very strange dreams. I also get something occasionally called sleep paralysis, where you're between awake and asleep, and so you can kind of wake up and you're in your room and you can see your house as normal, but there are also other things in the room with you, which can be quite scary. But I found a way to manage that. And
wow, Anna.
Yeah. And but I've also done lucid dreaming, which is basically where you become aware in your dream that you are dreaming, and then you can take control of your dream. And it's something that I've done since I was a child, but didn't know it was called lucid dreaming. but you can make it happen at will the more you practice it. And Charlie Morley talks about this a lot. He's a really interesting guy. And what he says is, much like NLP, say there's something you want to, a skill that you want to get better at. You can then say, right, I'm going to lucid dream tonight. And in your dream, you can practice this skill in your dream. So, and then in real life, you will be better at this skill. And they've done kind of tests and stuff on it. And it really has been proven that you can get better at a certain skill if you practice it in your dream reality. Wow. So even that just takes you to a whole other level. You know, when you're in your dreams, they can feel as real as your waking reality. But sometimes there are clues within your dream that let you know that you're dreaming. And if you recognize it, you can then take control of that reality too. So it's just another interesting concept, isn't it?
I never knew that about you, Mrs.
Oh, yeah.
I get a lot of stuff in my dreams. I get a lot of stuff. Yeah, like really vivid. And I wake up and it's so it like sometimes they come true and sometimes they're just so vivid, and I just feel that I have to contact someone that I've been dreaming about that I might have not have spoken to for absolutely years. Do you know what I mean? But they're in my dream and I just know that I have to contact them, and then when I do, they're like, I can't believe you've done it. I need this to make me feel a bit better at the moment, going through a bad patch or whatever it may be, you know. So like our dreams are really powerful, and they are almost a connection to something that we aren't consciously aware of, because in our subconscious is that's where, you know, 90% of our brain, 90% of everything that we do is subconscious, isn't it? So you know, if once we can tap into that and start inviting more of that in and recognizing it and remembering it and maybe jotting it down and taking note of it, they're like little messages. That's our power. That's so powerful. I never knew that. I've had one episode of sleep paralysis, but not with the other things in the room. What I noticed was I woke up and I just couldn't move my body. And that's
sleep paralysis, yeah.
That's paralysis, that's the one. And I was lying in my bed and I was awake, but I literally couldn't, I wanted to roll over.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And I just was like wood, just stuck. And then when I kind of like, I sort of came to, and I realized that I was facing the other side of my body. My body was facing one way and I was facing the other. So it was the most weird experience. And that kind of like almost rolled back into it and I woke up.
That sounds like it, yeah. So I've had it, and here's another interesting thing. So when I have it, I didn't know that this was a thing. But there's always something quite scary in the room. So I've woken up before and I had these two shadows leaning over me, staring at me. And apparently this is really common. And it wasn't until later on in life when I was talking to a girl I worked with who was a nurse, who said that's sleep paralysis. So I found out it actually had a name. And I've done lots of investigation into it. And people all around the world say they see these shadow figures leaning over them. There's like shadows or like demons and stuff. And and you wake up and you can't move, you're paralyzed. So you can't move, but you can see these things leaning over you and you're trying to reach for your light. So it is terrifying, but here's the interesting thing. It got to a point where I knew it was going to happen because I feel like this dragging sensation. So in your dream, something like you'll fall off something and feel this dragging sensation. It then takes you into sleep paralysis, or someone grabs you, so you know it's going to happen. And I got to the point where I was so scared to go to sleep sometimes because of this sleep paralysis. But then I remember one day I was in my dream and I got dragged down a chimney, and I thought, oh no, we're going to have sleep paralysis. And I thought, well, I'm not going to fight it actually this time. And I'm actually not going to be scared either. And from that moment, I started saying, I'm just going to go with it. Yeah, I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a demon that pops up. It was that kind of mentality. I'm just going to go with it. I know it's not real. You can't hurt me. And from then on, it didn't have any power over me anymore and happened so much less because I've just now I've taken that power back to say, and I even turn around and go, do you know what? I find it quite fun. So if I go into sleep paralysis, it's fine. I'll just go with it. And actually it's quite fun because the next day I remember and go, oh, I've got this brilliant story. So you can take that power back. And again, I just think that links into everything we talk about with NLP and being overwhelmed, but actually if you just go with it, you can take that control back.
Oh, I love this. I love this because dreams are so powerful. And I've been having so many of them recently as well, like just colourful, bright, vivid. and they're real. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is reality? Because that is reality. When I'm asleep,
yeah,
that's reality.
Yeah.
Who's to say it isn't as well? That's the other
they say we dream in metaphor, don't they? And
yes.
this is why dream dictionaries I generally think are pretty much nonsense, because no two person can have the same meaning. So for example, if I dream of an elephant, for me that's a beautiful, wonderful creature, but maybe somewhere somebody else has been attacked by an elephant. So if they dream of an elephant, it's actually got more of a sinister undertone. And no two people define things in the same way. So all of our metaphors are completely different. And we can just interpret those ourselves. And I actually did a dream workshop with a guy called Martin Wise. And Martin Wise is a fantastic man in the NLP world. He worked quite closely with Grinder for a while. And he did this dream workshop and talked all about these metaphors and stuff. And it was just fascinating how you can link all of those things in. But yeah,
we know, don't we, that the mind works that way. It doesn't work in language, really. It's always in pictures and kind of feelings and colours and shapes and things like that, isn't it? So this is all being woven into some sort of, and then our mind kind of makes a story out of it. But when you actually, like you say, lucid dreaming, when you're actually watching your dreams, you realize there's actually no story there at all. It sort of just jumps around it's just flashes of things, and you've kind of made up a story, but there really is no story there at all. And in terms of mine, apart from when I've gone into a real lucid dream where I'm in control, and that's just, I mean, to me, that's like, wow, it's brilliant fun. You know, it's like the best video game ever, that you'll just, I was on top of this mountain, and all the clouds were around me, and it was a beautiful, it was cold, but I didn't feel cold. And all these clouds were around, and I could make it snow wherever I liked, and I was just directing the weather. And it was brilliant. I was just like, just directing the weather, and put some snow over there, and we could have some sunshine over there. And then I was just playing around with the weather. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was just great to be in that.
Free.
It was just such fun. I loved lucid dreaming, but I don't.
They say you can practice doing it.
Yeah, that's only really happened properly once. I kind of watch my dreams, but I don't always have control. But that time I did, and that was really cool.
Oh, well, wow. There's things like, if you, throughout the day, I don't know, say you wear a watch or something. So throughout your day, when you wake up in normal reality, just get into a habit of checking your watch, say quite regularly, to see what the time is. And if you're in this reality, your watch will stay the same time, and it won't fuzz or change or flicker or anything like that. And you know that you're in this reality. And then you do it so much that it becomes a habit that you almost do it in your dreams as well. So you look at your watch. When you look at your watch and it's fuzzy, or it doesn't say the same, or the numbers change, then you know I'm dreaming, and then you can go into then you can become lucid. So it's little things like that.
It's like conscious, isn't it? Conscious dreaming. You're getting part of your conscious mind is coming into the dream state.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, like, your brain waves must be doing all sorts of weird things.
I wonder what. I'd like to see.
Very, very deep sleep, and yet you're also conscious, which must be sort of beta waves instead of delta. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it?
You can buy, I've actually got this lucid dreaming mask that you can buy, and you put it it's just like a normal sleeping mask.
Yeah.
But you can set it, and at points throughout the night it'll flash these red lights, and so at some point, and you sort of, at some point you'll be in your dream and you'll start seeing like red traffic lights or disco lights or something, and again that's your indicator to say, remember, you're dreaming, because it's your this reality, the lights in this reality then sort of merge in with your dream. That's another really cool way of
and it's like hypnosis, when you're in deep hypnosis and you're actually there. I mean, it basically is almost a hypnosis, isn't it? Just a very deep hypnosis where you've got control and of your actual dream state, really, because when you're in that hypnosis, you're there, you're actually in that picture, whatever you're being directed to, and it's such a beautiful, amazing experience, and you are there. And when you come back to reality, it's like a jolt almost. Sometimes it's just like, whoa, but that wasn't reality, but this is. It's like,
Well, my friend Natalie and I, so Natalie, who is on my website also with both of you two, Natalie and I delivered some workshops last year on reducing stress and anxiety. And we do about a 20-minute or 20-minute, half an hour hypnosis session, to go into deep relaxation. So we do that with people. And when they come, they go in, they walk down these stairs and they sit in this armchair, all in their mind, and have this beautiful view and all of this stuff. And then we bring them back out and we say to people, so how long do you think you were sort of in that state for? And they get complete time distortion. They're like 3 or 4 minutes. We're like, well, it's been 25 minutes or half an hour. They're like, what? So again, your reality changes, your perception of time changes.
What is time? Like, that's another question. What is time? Because it's dictated to us, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is, you know.
I mean, time is just a concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a thing. All you have is now. Time is just, you know, our minds arrange time in ways, and like everybody sees time in a different way when you get into their subconscious, and they have it. Some people say, where's your past? And they think, oh, it's behind me, and other people like are sitting on it. Some people it's like in a spiral going off to the left. It's like, it's amazing. Everyone's got a different way their mind organizes time, and their memories are organized on this, some on a line, some of them are just in groups, you know, around the place. And so working with memories is very interesting to how that's all arranged. And I was just going to come back to Anna, when you were saying about, you made this choice about, I'm going to see this as fun now, not scary. It's my decision. It's like fear and excitement are just two sides of, it's the same feeling. Fear and excitement are exactly the same feeling in our body. It's just what we choose to call it.
Yeah.
So, and I remember then it reminded me of a time when I used to, and I don't know where it came from, but I used to think every time I was driving along, when I got to a traffic light, if it went red, just as I was coming up to it, it was a bad sign that something was going to happen.
Oh.
And I made that up. It's completely made up in my head.
Yeah.
So every time I got to a red light, it's like, oh no, there'd be a sinking feeling because it was a bad thing. And I thought, well, and one day I just thought, this is just crazy. Well, I thought, I'm just going to think from now on, every time if a red light stops me, I'm going to think a good thing is going to happen. It's a good thing. And so now, if it's green and I go through, happy days, it's a good thing anyway. And if it goes red, something extra good's going to happen.
Good.
So now it's win-win, you know. But it was just a flip in my head that I had to change.
Yeah.
And a decision. And as soon as we make that choice, and I think it goes back. Remember when I was very young, I used to suck my thumb.
Yeah.
And I got to the stage where I looked around, I thought, my mum and dad don't suck their thumb. No, this is just stupid now. And I don't know how old I was. I wouldn't have been very old. But I sort of looked around and thought, well, they don't suck their thumb. So if I want to be more grown up now, I'm not going to suck my thumb. And I just made a decision not to do it anymore. Yeah. Even though it was a habit and a sort of security thing for me and everything else. But, so, you know, I don't know, the age of 5 or something, I just made that choice. I'm not going to suck my thumb anymore because adults don't do it, and I don't want to be seen that, even though I was.
Oh.
And it's just funny, isn't it, how you can just make a choice.
Absolutely.
It feels impossible because the feelings are so strong in a certain way, but it is always a decision, and our feelings are a choice when it comes down to it. And the more we recognize what's happening, what's real right now, the more choice we have. And it's not even control, is it? 'Cause you can't really stop things happening, but you can choose how you look at it.
You can choose how you react to it. Well, similarly, I had a thing with magpies, and I remember my friend Paul telling me years ago, if you see a magpie on its own, really bad luck, you're going to have to salute it and say, all right, Mr. Magpie, hope you have a really nice day, otherwise you're screwed, something bad's going to happen. I wish he'd never told me that, because then for the next 10 years, every time I saw a magpie, I had to salute, even if I was on my own in the street or sat on a bus, I'd have to find some way to go, all right, Mr. Magpie. And it was just ridiculous. It was really embarrassing because I had to do it. And then one day I was like, right, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, now if I see a magpie on its own, I'm going to be like, what a beautiful bird. I think they're stunning birds, beautiful black and white birds. And that's it. I'm not going to salute it and have this ridiculous sort of negative, superstitious thing. I'm not having it anymore. And if I see one, you kind of go into that 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, no, it's just one on its own, and he's fabulous, and I'm not doing it anymore.
And all's good, right? All is well.
All is well.
All is
Yeah,
well.
things are even better, I'd say.
Well, listen, we've talking of time. It's been an hour, and time does flipping fly. Been on with you two. Thank you both for.
And you too. Really
so nice
today. Yeah,
I was late, guys, but yeah, good to see you both.
Yeah, so good to see you. It inspires me all the time. I'm like on a really good level. Yeah. I'm just like gonna fly away and just be a magpie myself. I'll do it. Black and white. There you go.
Yeah.
And my little sparkle in the middle. There you go.
A bit of magic sparkle. Yeah.
So, I love you both. So anyone watching this, have a beautiful weekend. I hope you've enjoyed this because we flipping have. And we will see you hopefully next Friday, all being well. Yeah, enjoy the weather. If it's raining, dance in it naked. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Go.